What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? You're listening to the Data is My Science podcast, the show that makes data your passion. I am your host, Dapper Data. We have talked about so many things. We talk about artificial intelligence. We dive deep into that, right? Machine learning. We get very technical sometimes, right? We talk about entrepreneurship a lot, right? And we talk about how data can drive physicians, right? Pharmaceutical people. We talk about how data can drive every decision you make, okay? And for me, when I think about data, data is pretty much embedded in every decision, interaction, and process that you make. Okay. I mean, there's data in predictive systems out there, right? There's data in restaurants, right? There's data in, you just walking from point A to point B down the street. You use data to make a decision why you do what you do. And people need to start realizing that. But how do you use data to find out whether the next business venture will work? Okay, so I brought somebody on here, right? I brought a special guest, okay, that's going to help you understand what it means to be a data-driven entrepreneur. Okay,
Mm.
this person is sitting here. His name is Tim Branyan. Say what's up, Tim.
What's up, guys? Glad to be here.
Yeah, I really appreciate you being on the podcast, Tim. Now, now Tim is a serial entrepreneur, right? I would like to call him a data-driven serial entrepreneur, but he has helped brands and content creators turn their influence into more income. Okay. He has built a multi-million dollar apps and software company. Him and his team have proudly developed technology that customers recommend, entrepreneurs prefer, and partners are proud of with their latest innovative idea called True Fans. Okay, hopefully
Mm.
you don't stamp me for or kill me for taking your quote, man. But this company has built has actually surpassed 203 thousand plus global users. And we're going to touch a little bit more on that. Okay, he has been a founder of many things like True Fans LLC. He has also been the COO of Logic Square LLC and El Presidente of of Branyan Holdings LLC. All right. So, Tim, man, thank you for being on podcast. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, Bobby, thank you for the introduction. Pumped to be here and hope to give value in some of the stuff. Yeah, I've done a lot of different things, but it all really started for me in a blue collar town called Kokomo, Indiana, not the island, but it's a small town in central Indiana. I grew up not really with any sort of like real direction. I was hanging around a bunch of people that were basically just chasing the party scene, chasing chicks,
Mhm,
and I wasn't going anywhere really fast. It was kind of a reflection of those folks.
mhm,
And restlessness and discontent was always the data point, yeah, or at
mhm,
least the point that I got to in my life when it was time to change or audit or make a different
mhm,
direction. And so for me, early on, that was joining the military. Very primitive. I looked around and was like, okay, love it or hate it, I'm going to do this thing, and it's at least going to get me out of this environment. And I think who I can become after 4 to 6 years could be really good on a resume.
mhm,
So I jumped at the chance, still with some apprehension and fear, and it ended up being a wonderful choice. It changed my life. I've traveled to a lot of different countries. I've worked with people all over the planet and played a position in the mission in the United States Air Force, and I'm forever grateful that thankful that I made that choice.
mhm,
So the military became a restlessness and discontent point after about 6 years. I
mhm,
saw where I was going, and although I loved the opportunity to be in, I didn't want to retire from it. I saw what that might look like, and it just didn't make sense for me. So I went to school, got super burnout. Long story short, software and technology became this vehicle that I believed could pay me residual passive income. I could solve problems in a multitude of different ways. And it just made sense for the lifestyle that I wanted to create. I really became obsessed with like freedom and
mhm,
how I could create a lifestyle I didn't need a vacation from, and how I could position myself to, um, you know, really have the power to say no, or have the power to empower my family and the
mhm,
things that were important to me, and business ownership in the tech niche made a lot of sense. So fast forward now, I moved back to my hometown of Indiana, to where I'm at now,
mhm,
Kokomo. I've got 2 beautiful kids, a wife. I've had some high highs in business. We've made multi-millions. I've had some serious learning experiences where we failed for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and had nothing but the learning experiences through
Man.
those times. And I'm excited about where we're at with True Fanz. That's one platform that I'm pumped for. It's enabling content creators around the world to get paid to post. And it was really a life preserver doing all the COVID stuff for people. And, as far as building technology and apps and building a personal brand and giving everything away, that's really where I'm at now. It's fulfillment, and I'm having fun in the process. So I'm glad to be here. That's a little
Yeah.
bit about me, Bobby.
No, thanks, Tim. I appreciate it, man. And since you mentioned True Fans, man, to me, it's an amazing concept, right? And it reminds me of when you're building a business, you need to think about everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
right? You don't think about yourself, right? You think about the consumer, right? The user, right? You're giving, right? And it's like you're in this giving mood, right? Christmas mode right now,
Right.
as we had our conversation. And so, what is its true purpose? And how did you say, hey, look, you know, like what drove you to say that this is the vision? I want to go
Right.
here, you know.
Yeah, no. So I've never, I didn't set out to like, okay, I'm going to go have a good idea today,
Right.
or I need to go, sit in a corner and start just drawing things out. I think the effective entrepreneurs look at the market, and they're really good at identifying what sucks and then having the confidence and belief system that they can solve that problem. And
Mm,
and you're paid in direct proportion to your ability to solve problems. And so,
mm,
for me, when I was looking at this arena, if you will, or this niche, creators have been historically underpaid and undervalued.
mm,
We saw that people were being suppressed, like their ideas, their opinions, their thoughts were literally being canceled or taken off various other social media platforms.
mm,
Reach is being diminished. Like if you go to build a community on a lot of the bigger tech platforms, you're going to get 2 to 3% of that community engagement. And that's by design, right? Smart people designed algorithms to diminish organic reach and
mm,
put a lot more emphasis on pay to play, like pay
right.
for reach. Because these platforms generate their income from advertisement dollars, right? It's not so
Mm,
much about that individual's ability to use the free version as much as
right.
what an advertiser will get to pay to use that data. So, that kind of sucked. People are now more keen in realizing that aspect that I just said. And then we looked at our competitors. We saw the big 10,000-pound gorillas in the room. We're like, okay, cool, they're doing this, but mainly they're in the adult space. So it all started with just belief. I believed and still believe that we uh, will have the most logical choice platform for creators around the planet. And I believe one of the things that I knew that we could do to stand out, because it's not enough to just like, okay, I know all the problems, and here's what our competitors are doing. How do we become that logical choice? And now you need to inject the things that are going to make you stand out and have the best offer for your ideal customers, right? And this what I'm saying right now is applicable to any
Mm,
business, whether you're a restaurant. So
right.
keep that
Right.
in mind. But so for us, we made it 100% invite only. You can't get
Mm,
access unless you're invited or you apply, and that creates more of a, instead of like a Walmart, right? We're more like a country club or a yacht club where you gotta know somebody to get in, or you have to be welcomed in. The next thing we did was we pay more, so we don't have any features that are, or we don't have any like hidden fees or anything that some of our competitors have. And then we
so
we
you
just
pay
launched.
more up front. You're saying
So
up front,
yeah,
you
so
pay.
so yeah, so a lot of platforms they're claiming to take 20%, but the reality is they're still taking like processing fees. There's
Mm,
chargeback fees. There's baked in
mm,
costs for processing that they don't advertise, and that's not
mm.
very honest. So ours is just a flat 20%. Like there is no hidden
Oh,
fee. There's nothing. There's no transaction fees or withdrawal fees. And that's the next thing that we did too, is we launched instant payments. So
mm,
instead of having to wait, typically it's 30 days. You can take a withdrawal instantly within
mm.
seconds to an account
Man,
of your choice within the platform. So there's no minimums on amounts that you can charge as well, or maximums or minimums when you're taking a withdrawal. And yeah, the biggest thing is we don't allow adult content. So we're a home for people that would love to have a membership site without the stigma that's out there with other platforms, and that's been
Right.
really cool, man. We've aligned with awesome people, and we're helping them really become kind of like a creator entrepreneurial hybrid, and
Hmm.
really kind of understand the reality that their influence and income, or sorry, their influence and their ability to gain attention and influence, those are definitely monetizable things, whether it's with our platform or with e-commerce, with various shout outs. We're helping them turn on that entrepreneurial muscle.
No, that's awesome. And some of the things I was thinking about throughout, your conversation, your part of the conversation, was that you mentioned competitors, right? You mentioned how you understand the problems
Hmm.
that the users are having all the time. You've mentioned invite only, which is to me exclusivity, right? So it's something about that, right? That kind of brings you to say, I want from a marketing standpoint, I want to be a part of that, right?
Yeah,
I want to be exclusive. I want to be unique, right?
sure.
You pay more, the instant payments, right? Because people are tired of having those small hits here and there and stuff like that, right? And the removal of the adult content that had to all be done by research, right? To be able to say that this is what they want, what they need, and what they don't want, and what won't like, right?
Totally. Yeah. And before we even started the call, I'm not the guy that creates Excel sheets, and I'm not really
Uh,
good at that. I have people that help me with that, but I'm
mhm.
definitely the guy that goes out and does what I call reconnaissance to collect information and insight that helps me make decisions. It's data.
Mhm. Yeah.
So all I was doing was just seeing what was out there, seeing what it was lacking, listening, asking questions, and collecting an analysis to ultimately decide, okay, here's the thing, here's how we can stand out. Here's
Right.
how we can, and I look at things now, even like most social media platforms don't have like a methodology in which they're identifying that this is the real human being on our platform. So that causes all sorts of like identity theft, right?
Yep.
We have something in place. It's called KYC that determines that everybody that joins our platform is who they say they are. So
Man.
there are no more, like fake accounts and people
Yeah.
stealing someone's identity and monetizing it. That doesn't happen with us. Again, being invite only and having these things in place. And back to your point, right? All it is just looking at what's there and what's not, and
Right.
and what could serve.
It's amazing because what you're telling me is that in my eyes, I'm seeing, how you're connecting the data, right? You're actually doing, you got some people that are very, very technical, right? They're like, oh, I can do this Python programming. I'm collecting all these resources this way, right? I'm collecting all this data. I'm doing all this coding, right? You know, I got these Excel spreadsheets, these databases in there and stuff like that. But then you're taking it back. You also have the the way of market research, right? The way of true traditional market research that is
Mm.
done. Now, how long did it take you to kind of do the research, would you say, right? If you can estimate that, right, for true
Yeah,
fans.
I think I had everything that I needed within like 3 or 4 days. Like from like
Man,
my and again, what I need is somebody like
did you
so
have Red Bulls?
the
Did you have
really
Red Bulls with
right the,
that?
the really analytical guy, like the engineer, the really smart guy that's able to create the functionality and the programming and whatnot. Like I need them to trust me at
Mm,
times. Now,
yeah.
now that being said, it's a two-way street, right? So I
Mm,
have to broadcast enough enthusiasm, and I have to broadcast enough details to show them that this is something that I believe will work. And then it's
right.
always, to a certain extent, um, it's going to be failing enthusiastically, right? In any case
Mm,
that there is something that's off. But yeah, man, I need the really smart engineers and coders, right, like you, to
mm.
believe what I've been able to find and what I've been able to communicate through my data collection methods.
No, no, definitely. I mean, I think it's that two-way street, right? And that goes back to, I've had plenty of people on the podcast where we talk about, you know, will the will the machine or will this analytical person, right, ever take over the traditional methods, right?
Mm,
The old school way, and I think depending on the role is possible, but I think that there's some things to be said about, there's something to be said about that traditional method, right, of market
Right.
research. Trusting the emotions, the integrity, the experience of an actual human being, right? And trying to compare that to somebody that's sitting there crunching numbers as a machine, right? Because somebody has to be behind a machine regardless. So
Mm-hmm.
you're taking their part as well. And so what you're doing, right? You have the experience, right? You have the knowledge. You have certain experience that only you can pretty much embed into a machine to for them to have the same experience as you, right?
Sure.
Some people are not going to go through the same thing that you've gone through, right? And so there's value in the human. I think if forever will be value in the human aspect of things when it comes down to this stuff, right?
How
So
do you program empathy? Right.
exactly,
That
right. You
becomes
can't do
that becomes a really
it.
complex equation to
Yeah.
be analyzing and care, like to actually care about an outcome for another person or another
Hmm.
individual or situation. Like that is something that requires a lot of analysis. I think it's a human component for now, but
Right.
I won't challenge any what developers are able to do. To this day, I'm
Right.
impressed with. So someone will take that
Yeah.
as a challenge if I say it can't be done. So
All right.
maybe I should
No,
say
no.
that.
Hey, look, you are able to state your own opinion
Yeah,
about everything you want, and nobody judges here, man. My audience is really cool. They
yeah.
they have a good time, man.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
challenge. I want one of your audience, the really smart guys, to develop an algorithm and develop data, like a predictive technology or an algorithm of some sort to create empathy, like
Hmm.
outcomes. So I
I
think
don't think it'll
that's
ever
like the
happen.
future. That's the future
Yeah.
of like I think successful businesses will be super empathetic to who's on their team.
Hmm.
They'll be super empathetic to uh, actually knowing the exchange of like here we are as a company.
Hmm.
Here's my employee. This is what they want. Here's the mutual exchange. So technology or some sort of uh, system that could take these data points from both of those and find that dovetail groove or give
Yeah.
suggestions on how
I
you
think it'll
could
be
motivate
hard
that
because
individual.
I think it would be hard to predict empathy because it's certain things are so chaotic, right?
Mm,
It's like trying to predict the lottery, or the next flood, right?
yeah,
Because emotions, right? And the way people react, right? And trying to care for somebody, but not expecting their reaction to be one way versus the other, is too chaotic,
right.
for me to really. I mean, I think it's hard, right? I've presented empathy in many ways, but then it's responded to me in other ways as well, where
Yep.
I'm thinking, man, I thought I went the right way, right, showing empathy, but it doesn't matter how they responded in another way as well. So,
But now
it's
you're
tough.
thinking about it. Now you're solving the problem. It's just a matter of
Right.
time.
Yeah. So you are what I call, or what I think you've even mentioned before about yourself, a serial entrepreneur, right?
Mhm.
And um, if you could define that for me, right? That'd be great, right?
Yeah.
For the audience as well.
I one of my first hustles, I think to refine or to define it, I got to go back. So one of my first hustles in high school, I've always been a capitalist. I grew up kind of lower middle class. We
Hmm.
weren't poor by any means, but we definitely weren't rich. I mean, there's four kids in my family. Um, Grew up modest, and but if I wanted something, I had to earn it. I had to
Hmm.
hustle and make some money somehow. And I don't know why this never dawned on me. I could have got a job, but it's just like I just hustled instead, bro. It was like the easiest way to, at least in my head, it was like the easiest way to serve the market directly. And my market at that time was high school. So
Hmm.
anyway, uh, one of the first hustles that I did, I grew up gaming,
Hmm.
and so back in the day, the Xbox, like the regular Xbox, what I would
Oh,
do
the
is,
first one, the first
yeah,
generation.
the first Xbox, like the Halo 2 version.
Uh-huh.
Kids would they'd pay me $100, and I had a 24-hour turnaround. They would ride my bus with their Xbox. They would hand it off to me. I'd take it into my house. I had a little shop set up in my basement where I would soft mod an
Hmm.
Xbox and
Hmm.
using a system to put different firmware and different software on. I didn't actually write the software. I was using someone else's code, but I knew enough to manipulate the colors.
Yeah,
I knew
yeah.
enough to add different emulators and different
Mm,
games and such. So I made my own custom build through someone else's framework.
mm.
And it was awesome, man. I could change the little ring on the Xbox.
Yeah.
They could browse the internet and play all these like hundreds of different types of games. So it like,
Mm,
unlocked the abilities from this Xbox. And the cool part was it was $100 up front. So cool. I just got paid to put this soft mod on and
mm,
customize it how they wanted it. I would let them pick the colors on the ring. And then
mm.
the thing that would probably get me thrown in jail is I used to sell
It's too
burnt
late now. It's too late.
burnt games, man. So I would go to
Uh,
Family Video
mm.
or wherever and grab like a game and then take the ISO files.
Yeah,
ISO
the ISO
file.
file. Yep. Hmm.
Yeah, take that file and then put it on a DVD-R, and then I would sell games like along
Oh,
with this. But
nice.
they had to have the customized Xbox in order to play those types of games. So it made more sense to do that and then only pay me $20 per game than spend
Yeah.
$50 on a
You've been doing
new game.
entrepreneurship for a while,
Yeah,
man.
dude. And then that evolved. What else did I do? I sold candy for a short stint, and then that was
Mm,
just too much logistics. Um, yeah, and then my first software tool was in 2000 and was it 9? 2009,
mm,
2010? I can't remember. But yeah, so like for me, sir, being an entrepreneur, I've just always been a capitalist. I've always seen problems, and I've always tried to figure out ways to solve them in exchange for money and income. And I've always looked for kind of the revolving door opportunity in a way that I can reduce the amount of energy that I'm spending, but still give a great product. I care about the result of like a
mm,
customer or my user because it's tied to me, and I've always like cared about that, and I hope to always. And then, yeah, man. So uh, that that evolved into multiple different software tools that evolved into. I've never ran like a physical business, or like
mhm.
I've always been interested in doing uh, like wholesaling, like real estate wholesaling
Oh,
potentially.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, man. So like serial entrepreneurialism for me now is consulting, right? Building
Mm,
software and apps for a multitude of different industries. Like we're getting aligned to do federal contracts and procurement. We're going to bid
nice.
on federal stuff. Yeah, and just building my own stuff. So
Hmm.
building
Yeah,
a
yeah.
distribution.
So what has driven you in that route, right? Because you have, or what, not really that route, but what has driven you in saying, hey, look, Tim, this is the next venture I should go with,
Hmm.
right? What makes you decide, hey, I want to go, what we talked about, left versus right, or
Yeah,
straight instead of that.
totally. No, so early on it was money and freedom.
Hmm.
And I've since hit that. I'm in a place in my life where I own all my stuff. I make more than enough money, and so that's changed since then.
Hmm.
Now it's like, okay, what about purpose? What's
Yeah,
important to me really at this point now? It's like I want to make authentic friends, like
yeah.
the people that I choose to work with and build with. Like I want them to be solid. I want them to have my six. I want us I want to have fun. That's the other thing
Hmm.
that's important to me. If I'm not aligned with like cool people that I could hang out
Hmm.
with or have a beer with or like bring our families together, it's probably not the best fit for
Yeah.
like business. So like that's another aspect that's important to me. And then, fulfillment, like some purpose in that as well. So like any projects that are impactful,
Hmm.
that also align with some of those other things, and they're fun and they're fruitful on all these different pillars. That's how I know I'm aligned with uh, the right trajectory. And for me now, it's less about like putting in a ton of hard work, writing this down,
Hmm.
planning all the different uh, you know, nuances and such, and more so just being open and receptive with faith and,
Right.
and belief. That goes back down to my realm of like the creative side of things. But I genuinely believe that there are some profound, uh, some profound like data to that. What
Hmm.
I'm saying, like believing in, a lot of people call it the universe. I'm a
Yeah,
believer
yeah,
in God, so I believe it's God that is
yeah.
the universe. They're giving it a different
Hmm.
title, and the laws of attracting things into your world through
Right.
your words, through your thoughts. You can follow that one if you want to research the quantum level on that.
Yeah. No, no, absolutely. I mean, it's amazing that you're saying this because when I look at, all those things you mentioned, I would call those data points,
Yep.
right? When I mean, there's something called deep learning that's out there, right? Neural networks and things like that, from a technical standpoint that people are
Mhm.
doing in data science now. And it's really mimicking the human brain,
Mm.
right? Trying to figure out a move that's 10 steps or 30 steps ahead, right? Because now you know that this person thinks like you're thinking, right? You have
Yeah.
these things you consider when having your next business venture, right? And when you think about deep learning, right? Something so basic as a cat versus a dog, right? You
Yep.
see a picture of a cat, you see a picture of a dog, so now you know that this is a cat versus a dog because you labeled it a cat for a cat and a dog for a dog. But then what if you introduce a cat that has his head turned to the left, right? Or his head turned to the right?
Hmm.
Now you have to label that one as a cat as well. And then
Right.
now the machine now knows that. So all those different data points that you're bringing up is interesting because when you think about your next venture, you're adding on new labels to your life to say, hey, look, I'm gonna make a decision based off of this now versus what before, because before you might not have cared about some of the things you care about now, right?
Sure.
But now you care about those things, so you're adding that to your life. It's just interesting how you're adding on different ways you're making decisions and stuff throughout your life for your business venture.
It's phenomenal. And those machines, we'll call them that, those algorithms already
Hmm.
exist. I'm thinking about
Yeah.
things now, and I'm seeing products as I'm thinking about, and this is happening on social media. I know that there's huge amounts of data being processed, and I don't know what the full motivation is behind some of this. I think a lot of it's like profitability. Like companies are investing a lot of
It's
money in,
always
okay,
profitable.
how is this guy? Where's this next
Yeah.
guy's purchase decision going to come from, or
Yeah.
what are they going to be interested in? What do we need to color our products? What do we need to?
Right.
How do we
Your
state
behavior,
where
right?
the puck's
Based
going
off
to
your
be? Yeah,
behavior.
yeah.
Yeah.
And some of that's like that's cool. Then some of it's kind of like it's a little
Creepy,
sketchy.
probably.
Because it's like, it's almost like when you go hunting, and
Uh-huh.
I'm out here in the Midwest. I'm not a deer hunter or anything, but people go out and
Uh,
hunt. There's only so many types of tools that you can legally use because you get to a point where it's like, is this really hunting anyway? Is this nice to you? Is this,
Yeah.
but we're talking about an aspect of, our reality right now that most people cannot comprehend. Like this
Hmm.
conversation right now is beyond, I think a lot of people's like knowledge truly,
Hmm.
like maybe not this audience that we're talking to, but I'm
Hmm.
talking about the mass majority of people don't know about predictive analytics, are not familiar with like the technology that exists right now and how it's being utilized to sell a product or push a,
Right.
whatever it may be. So I'm always like a little apprehensive of it. It's really
Mm.
cool, but I'm also like, who's working on this stuff,
Yeah,
dude?
who's doing
Like,
it, man?
hopefully, and if somebody's on this right now that is working on it, just please be a good human, dude. Like
Yeah.
use your powers for good, please.
Yeah. That's the
We need
whole
you at your best. Yes,
right, the
the world needs
AI
you.
ethics, right? Ethics
Yes,
has a morality. You
don't
have to have good morals, man, when you're doing
don't
it,
be the mad scientist, please.
man.
Like, just help the world, man. Plant trees. That's
Yeah.
that's my hope for the people that have these talents and skills in the arena that they're, exploring and pushing the envelopes on. I love innovation.
Mhm.
I love, how data can be used now, and all the different algorithms and systems and processes and tools in place now. It's crazy how
Mhm.
far we've gone. Um, but yeah, that's my only hope.
Yeah. No, no, I
Take
hope the
care of
same,
us.
man. It's funny because I don't even think about it like that, but when you mentioned it, I was like, oh crap, man. I hope the same thing, man. I hope
Yeah,
that they
dude,
do
there's
it
a
for
lot of
right, man.
really so like we work in AWS, like Amazon
Hmm.
Web Services S3,
Yeah.
and there's so much that you can do it. Like one tool alone, it's called recognition, and
Hmm.
it's happening right now, right? And you're probably familiar with it. It can read, and it's an algorithm that can review content at the time of upload and determine, is this a cat? Within like 99.9%
Yeah.
accuracy, it'll tell
Right.
you what it is. And that's great in some instances, right? If there's security issues, right? Or we don't allow adult content. So we know if somebody's attempting to do that, and we can have a conversation or shut that down, or they can
Hmm.
say, hey, dude, this isn't the place. But also, you can take your iPhone now and look
Hmm.
at something and it reads it for you.
Right.
You can
Right.
read the text. And
Right.
there's captions that can happen automatic. There's platforms for like 99 cents or $1. You can extract a script from voice
Yeah.
in an MP3 or in a video, and it gives you within great accuracy that written template, right?
Yeah, I
Of
think
what
I
was
used a
spoken.
thing called audiogram that actually, well, I guess the audience will see it. They see it all the time. I
Yeah,
take the guest, man, and what you're saying, it just takes your words, man, and just throws it
sure.
out there, and natural language processing involved, just voila.
Yeah,
And then
TikTok
you
does it.
might, yeah, exactly. TikTok does it, man. It's amazing, man. YouTube, man, they're doing it, and it's getting more accurate. With the models they're putting in there is great. So,
There's good and bad sides of that too, right? Like you were talking about, you were into cybersecurity, so like the negative use cases that could be used for, right? It's these algorithms that can, detect imagery. There's also these filters, which are just algorithms, right, that are painting a
mhm.
face over you.
Yeah.
And like while one guy might use it to put, I don't know, Big Bird, Tweety Bird on his face, another
Hmm.
guy might be making video calls to grandma pretending to be you.
Exactly, exactly.
Deep
Oh man, I
fakes.
had a whole deep fakes, man, are real, man. Even social media and stuff, and so I was. It's funny because I actually had a person that deals with all they do is data science, deep fake work, man. You should definitely
Wow.
listen to that podcast. It was crazy, man.
Yeah.
They do some crazy stuff. But so I know that you and I are both into like social media, right?
Mhm.
We definitely. I mean, I feel like every entrepreneur has to be into it at some level. But
For sure.
um, I am more into the data-driven side of social media, right?
Yep.
And I know you're into the social media marketing strategy side of things as well. How do you boost sales with data-driven social media marketing, right?
Mhm.
How when you're going through that process and you're thinking about, say, you had a client or just you in general for yourself, you're
Yeah.
like, man, how do I get more whatever, more sales, more revenue,
Sure.
more whatever it is, how do you do that?
Yeah. So I look at it probably more primitive. I try to keep things as simple as possible for the
Hmm.
sake of my own brain. And I think about influence. I think about attention. And when you think
Hmm.
about the internet and using that as your medium to broadcast that out, what you're doing is you're building trust and authority. And
Hmm.
there's multiple ways to do that. I think one methodology, right, is through PR. So if
Hmm.
you can find news articles and outlets to disseminate your message and your about you and what you know or what you want to give away
Hmm.
in written form, and that can like have a picture as well about you. So when people are searching for you or people are out seeking your business or services, you start to potentially pop up. Um, Along with authority and gaining more influence and traffic, uh, I think that it's very important to be omnipresent. So to be everywhere as
Oh.
much as humanly possible. So you look for ways to broadcast yourself. So like Bobby, you and I met on
Hmm.
Podmatch, right? Which is
Right.
essentially matching guests and people that have data points that are together,
Hmm.
together, and that facilitates what we're doing now. And then what's cool about this is at the end of this podcast, just like any other one, and again on the same line of building your brand and being omnipresent and getting everywhere,
Hmm.
you might post this on iHeartRadio. This might go out to iTunes. This might go out to
Hmm.
Amazon. This might go out to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pin. Who knows? Like
Hmm.
that's up to you. But most people like have a syndication system for their podcast that's not only putting you out there as a brand, as an individual, but also like tagging me. And I
Hmm.
could take these snippets and then tag what we did and use hashtags. So it creates this great broadcast. And so like my strategy or what I teach people to do is to create a system Um, and I think the best way to build a community or an audience around who you are and what you do is to give everything away. And
Mm.
like the scarcity mindset of, oh, someone's going to take my secret sauce, or someone's going to, that's good. Great. They need to do that. Like give that away. And what you'll discover is the majority of the time people are going to say, how can you do this for me? So I could tell everybody how to build an app right
Mhm.
now, right? I could go through the process and probably bore a lot of people to death on most podcasts, maybe not this one, but like bore a lot of people to death. But what would happen if I went through this ingredients list is a lot of business owners or people would be like, hey, dude, can you just do this for me? Can you work with hey, you need
Right.
to talk to my guy here in IT, or hey, we're looking for this thing. Do you do this?
Right.
Actually, yeah, man, hit me up. I'd be glad to talk to him. So if you as the brand, you as the individual, become what I like to call the Bob Vila of your craft. I don't know, if you become the subject matter expert and you're willing to share that and give that, who
Mhm.
wouldn't, the best analogy, who wouldn't ask the teacher for the answers to the test?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
You know,
And it's no secret that data, kind of drives most of our decisions in the social media world.
mm-hmm.
And even like going back to the about you page, right? I mean, something like that, focusing on personalization, is key, right? What you're saying. And I'm a big fan on the reason why I got into working with social media and analytics specifically was because I personally hated social media, right? I felt like every time I got on it, I would find myself going like it's like having 100 tabs open on your laptop or desktop,
Right.
right? I just keep diving deeper and deeper, and everybody catches my attention. And when you're a business, when you're an entrepreneur, you don't have time to waste, right? On certain things. And so I think about, man, you create this ad. How do you make sure that you're not spending a ridiculous amount of money, right? But you're also being efficient, right,
Great.
with your message, and you're getting what your goal is, which is probably trying to get revenue, right? Get some type of sales, right? Ultimately and stuff. And you have to improve your data quality, right? So even the about you page is data, right? Everything you put in there matters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that short little part that you have
Definitely.
in Instagram, what are you going to put in there, right? It matters. I've seen you. I look at something that really matters, right? That I realized you make sure that you put in, right? The you capitalize certain parts in your during your brand, right? When you're done
Mm-hmm.
www dot right timbranyan.com,
Yeah.
the T in Tim and the B in Branyan is capitalized, right? True
Yeah.
fans. The T and the F are capitalized. That matters, right? And
Mm-hmm.
there's data behind that supports your decision on making that, right?
Yeah, no,
It's
exactly. And you can get in a name, address, and phone number like NAP when you're doing search engine optimization, and
mm,
you want to stand out when you're doing backlinks for your articles, or backlinks for your actual company website when you're getting listed on directories. Like all that
mm,
matters to being found again when people are searching for you or the things that you do, you want to show up. And so being consistent with your name, address, and phone number across directories, and having articles that point back to those things. And really what you're doing is you're building trust too. I mean, like reviews matter as well, right? Like your
mm-hmm.
reputation. I think the statistic is like 68 or 70% of people look up a business online before they make any buying decision.
Mm.
And you can double check me on that. I know it's a high
No,
number. I don't know.
it's a high number. I
It's a
remember
very
going
high
through that.
number.
Yeah.
And the reality is knowing that if you are not actively uh, transitioning your offline reviews to online reviews, you haven't built a system for that as an entrepreneur or as a business owner, as an individual brand, whatever, uh, you should, because 68, or we're going to say 60 to 70%, that's the safe number. I know I'm right with that. 60
Mm-hmm.
to 70% of people are looking you up online before they decide to pick up the phone and call you. And what they're doing is they're analyzing how you measure up to your competitors in your existing space. So if I go, especially when I'm in a new city, if I go out to Atlanta, if I go out to Texas, wherever the heck I'm at,
Mm-hmm.
and I need a haircut, I'm not going to go to the dude who I look up that first off doesn't show up. I'm not
Yeah,
going
right,
there at
right.
all. But I will go to the person that shows up that has a lot of stars, a lot of
Yeah.
reviews, a lot of authentic like feedback and sentiment, and then I can see that the owner has responded to those reviews, and I can see kind of their culture, community.
Hmm.
Like I can see pictures and I can see articles maybe or awards that they've won. They've got a website. So now I'm like, bet I'm going here. I've now built rapport through the internet, through data, to decide I'm going to, Bobby's Cuts
Yeah, right, right,
first.
right. Don't
Bobby's
go to
Data
my
Cut,
cuts though, man. Don't go to my data
da,
cut.
Dapper Cuts.
Dapper cuts, man.
So,
You might get a bad cut, man. I tell you, you don't
uh,
want that.
got to build an
No,
algorithm for that, bro.
man. Exactly, exactly, man. It has to be automated through somebody else that's more talented than me, man.
There
You
you
know.
go.
So, but no, Tim, man, I appreciate you being on, man, and you have shed a lot of insight into the audience, man. Dropped a lot of dope information, man. And as the audience knows, I like to end with what I call a dope nugget or gem at the
Yeah.
end. And what I've learned, and it's just summarizing, right? You know, what I've learned from this podcast is that research really comes in many forms, right? Many roles, right?
Mm,
You know, we tend to forget the what you call old school, but it's also the traditional and what we're currently still doing.
mm,
And sometimes it might be the best method is that market research. We're truly sitting down in front of a computer, having 100 tabs open, and just keep diving deep and deep and deep into it, right? And that formulating your opinion. Whereas now we tend to still go to databases, right?
mhm.
We're putting information in databases, we're putting it, we're grabbing sources out using coding and all that stuff. Yeah, you don't have to code, you don't have to be a database engineer to go out and research
Yeah.
and follow your path, right? And also I've seen that, you know, data helps you do so many things. What we
Mm,
talked about, building trust, right? Uh, being on the same playing field as your competitors, right, as well, and being consistent because you said consistency matters, and also the last thing was what was the other thing? It was being able to support the decisions that you make.
yep.
So every decision you make, whether social media marketing, right, the True Fans decision, right, the any decision that you're making in life, data actually is your best friend, right? It's
Hmm.
able to support you throughout the decision. You know, you actually feel more confident when you know the data is backing you when you're making that decision. You
Sure.
know, so I appreciate you being on. Is there anything you want to leave the audience with, like a summary or anything?
Yeah, I think to give yourself permission to critique your data, whether you're getting it
Mm,
on a spreadsheet, getting it through success or failure.
mm,
Like taking your data and learning from it, and I think a conglomeration of all of it. Whether you're doing market research, you're doing analysis. I think the conglomeration of both of those worlds
mm,
to ultimately decide to make a decision or a choice, and then being open to adapting that choice and failing enthusiastically or winning enthusiastically, both sides, is a key
mm.
component of maximizing your data usage. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and staying in the game, man. Like at the end of the day, you're going to be extracting all this data, this information, but you're still a
Mm,
human, and their burnout's a real thing, and life will
yeah.
knock you down, and things are going to be
Mm,
happening external of your calculations to you and your
mm,
life and your family, etc. So like having that resiliency
mm.
and you know yeah, giving yourself permission to adapt and take those breaks as needed. I think that's huge for an audience like this, man. And
Yeah.
from a guy that's not super analytical and the engineer, I just salute all those people out there
Mm.
that are those guys, and a lot of times they're uncelebrated. So let me say thank you to
Oh, thanks.
all you engineers and you unsung heroes.
No, no, thank you, man.
Yep.
Hey, that was great, Tim. I appreciate it. And so the audience knows I like to play a game at the end, right? It's called Overrated, Underrated, and I got it from a mentor that I follow, Gary V. And basically, I will throw out a series of topics. You get to decide whether it's overrated, underrated, or right where it needs to be. Tim does not know what the topics are, so he
Nope.
is making his own opinion on the spot. All right, everybody,
Let's
are
do
you
it.
ready for the game?
I'm ready.
All right. Avocados.
Avocados, man, are overrated.
Yes. Oh, I wanted to wait for you to give me a pick. I just thought the same thing,
Bro,
man.
avocados are overrated, bro. There's a
Yeah,
lot of hype around avocados right now, man. And to be honest, they don't have a whole lot of taste. If you're being
yeah,
honest,
yeah. I
they're
don't, I
squishy.
don't, I don't understand the flavor that people see behind it, and uh, I mean, I think it has some good value, I guess, if you're trying to eat healthy, but when somebody says, "Hey, look, do you want avocados, from scratch, or you want guac, right? I mean, do you want guac or do you want like salsa?" I always choose a salsa because for some reason
Right.
avocado doesn't really get me. Now, unless you spice it up, you gotta throw like a ridiculous amount of seasoning in it,
Right.
all the
See,
tomatoes and everything.
I like what I know about it. I think it's a good brain food. So like the
Yeah.
results of it, I think are cool. Like maybe that's why I'll opt into it at
Mm.
Chipotle. But I'm
Yeah.
not like at the grocery store like, man, I could really use some avocados
You're
this week.
right.
I really want to get
Yeah. I,
nah, it's just
I
brain food.
I knew I was going crazy when I was sitting there like squeezing the avocado at the grocery store trying to figure out, man, is this ripe? Is it ready for me
Is that
to,
what you do? Do you
you
squeeze
know?
it or do you like
Yeah.
lick it? Is it like a water?
I don't
I have
know,
no
man. I
idea.
don't know, man. I actually I squeeze it to see how mushy the avocado is, right? To
Yeah,
see, and if it's like supposedly if it's too mushy, then it's not right. I mean,
it's no good.
it's no good, right? Because it's probably gonna go bad within tomorrow, right? And then I don't even know how to gauge it, right? I've had so
Right.
many people try to tell me how to gauge it, and I'm like, look,
We
I
need
don't.
somebody to comment the data on
Right, where's the data
how
on
to determine
it?
what a ripe avocado is, the
Exactly.
best pick avocado.
Right, right, man. All right, gaming.
Gaming is, bro, honestly, like as a gamer, right now, gaming's, shit, it's a hard one. Gaming right now is overrated. All right.
Oh
And this
man, I
is
thought you were gonna say
here we go.
underrated, man.
No, it's overrated right now. And the reason is I'm disgruntled because I feel like there hasn't been a great multiplayer like first person shooter since Halo 2 came out. I said it.
Oh,
I said it. It
yeah.
used to be like I'm upset with matchmaking, bro. Like it used to be one levels 1 through 50. And you got to level 50. It was really hard to get to 1 through 50. Now they got all these prestiges, and I feel like it's
Mm.
more about buying skins and da da da. Don't get me wrong, I'm a gamer. I'm an avid like League of Legends player,
Yeah, yeah.
and we play like the stick fight game. It's fun with some of my military buddies.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, man, I think right now it's overrated. It's overhyped. We need some hardcore multiplayer like back, like some
All
competitive
right,
stuff.
you heard it. Xbox and
Yeah,
PlayStation, y'all guys, Sony, whatever it is, you guys need to come up with
simplify
something
it.
better, man. Man. All right, libraries.
Libraries,
Yeah.
man, libraries are low key underrated, bro.
Uh-huh.
They're low key underrated, man. It's and when I say low key, it's like I don't know very many people that are like just getting into a library, bro. Like
Right.
everything's at your fingertips on a
You got the
phone, on a
audio
device.
books, you got the
Like
audible books, you got the
honestly, man, I've built some software out of a library. Like I
What?
like go to my
Really?
house. Yeah, I was there was like this short stint in my life where I was like I wanted friends. I was kind of alone. Like I miss
Uh-huh.
human interaction. Maybe some
Uh-huh.
other data people on here will
Yeah,
resonate
yeah.
with that,
Oh,
man. So
definitely, man.
I like crawled out of my cave and was like, okay, where can I go work? There's
Yeah.
Starbucks, there's Chipotle, whatever.
Uh,
And I went over to the library, man, and it was quiet. It was just like I don't know, man. It just put me like in this studious mode. I
hmm
feel like just the ambiance, the smell of books, like just the environment, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of information there, obviously, right? But
Yeah,
there's also
yeah.
a lot of resources. Like you don't realize how many resources there are in your community at the library, like events
hmm
that are going on, special discounts. A lot of libraries have like internet access with like online databases of
hmm
apps, audiobooks, movies, like all sorts of cool stuff, man. You just don't know because it's
Yeah.
underrated.
No, absolutely. And now that you made me think about it, a lot of times I go to this thing called WeWork,
Yeah,
right?
yep,
And I go to WeWork, I'm like, man, this is such a vibe, man. You're sitting
it
there
is.
chilling, and you get a chance to get some work done. But man, you're paying that money, right? when you probably could go to a library and actually get the same vibe. It
Yeah,
just
no,
doesn't have the
you just have to
scenery.
be
It's
more
not
quiet.
modern, right? Yeah,
You have to be more
exactly,
quiet. That's it.
exactly,
No,
exactly,
underrated,
man.
underrated, bro. I really do believe that. Go to your library today.
Yeah, yeah, I'm going,
Take
man.
your
You
kids. If you
know.
have kids, like the libraries, my kids went today. They do like
Uh,
story time, and it's just fun. It's
oh
really
man, they probably have like a lot of free events and stuff that go on there, right, for your kids
yeah,
and stuff. So okay, okay, all right.
underrated.
Next, brunch.
Brunch.
Yes.
See, I can't even vibe with that word, dude. I feel like if I vibe with
Yeah.
that word, then I'm just bougie, and I never want to become that. Like
Hey
people that use
man.
the word brunch, I can't
Yeah.
rock with it, bro. It's
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
overrated. I love the concept.
Yeah.
Like I like to eat food all the time, though, man. There's no
Yeah.
select time.
Yeah. People
People
like
that
you
eat
and me
brunch,
would
man,
say,
I
like,
don't
we
know.
just
I
want to
don't know.
eat, man.
I don't know if I trust people that eat brunch, bro. I can't. I'm being honest.
No, no, no. I'm with you on that, man. I know that my significant other, man, she loves
She says
brunch,
brunch.
and all she does is talk about brunch all the
Her and
time,
my
man.
wife would get along. They're probably both bougie, huh?
That's what she's like, a brunch fanatic, man. Every Sunday, man. That's what it is, man. So
That's
all right,
funny.
so the radio.
The radio. Uh, like Spotify or like
Yeah. No, 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 no. Just a regular
oh, like
90 something
old
point something.
like
Yeah.
radio.
Some people still
Man,
listen to
I don't even know
it.
if I have an opinion on. I like accidentally hear things on the radio as I'm switching over to Spotify, as I'm switching
Yeah.
over to Pandora or
Right.
whatever. Man, I don't know. I think it's from a marketing standpoint, maybe it's underrated though.
Mm.
So
They probably
complex.
have stuff like the news part. Maybe it's significant to listen to that. I don't know, CNN or something. I don't know if they have a radio station.
Maybe
So
like the weather, like you
yeah,
get
maybe the
you
weather,
get
or
the weather.
traffic, right? Traffic, right? But or I mean, Google Maps tells me that
That's what I'm
traffic is ahead
saying,
of me,
bro.
right? Map.
Waze,
I don't
Waze,
know,
the
man.
app helps me. Tells
Yeah,
me when
yeah.
there's a pothole, even. Come on.
All
Yeah, I'd
right.
say underrated, bro. Gotta give it underrated.
All right, cats.
Cats,
Yeah.
dude, cats have a bad rep. I don't know why. Like cats have just been belittled over the years. I
uh,
think that I think that they're underrated, bro. I think that
uh.
there's good cats out there that just have they've been bottled into this community. It's just like, you gotta give the cats a chance, dude,
Yeah.
before you
I'm
just
gonna tell you,
associate them with
man.
all these bad cats.
I don't know if I would ever give a cat a chance, man. It's something about looking at a cat
See what I mean?
and the way it looks at me. It looks very
See
like
what I
like
mean?
it will destroy you at any moment. Like it would just go real fast, cat like reflexes, and then just scratch you in 100 different places, and you don't even know what hit you, man.
Man, you get yourself a good cat. You build some rapport with them.
Huh?
It's just like you'll see each other
Yeah.
in the hallway. You'll see each other around
Yeah.
town. It's just it's mutual respect, bro. You
I
just
don't know,
gotta
man. I don't know, man. All right, ice cream.
ice cream.
Yeah.
Ice cream is. I'm not really a sweets guy. I'm gonna say it's overrated
Mhm.
because I know the ingredients of most ice cream. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
dude, I'll take an acai bowl or something that's gonna help
Yeah.
me more so than some cream and sugar.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say overrated.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
wife will probably watch this and be like, "What?" Or my
Yeah. Yeah.
kids.
I'm definitely uh I that is a weak spot for me, man. As
Oh,
much as I do not get a bunch of sugar, you can ask anybody, but you
what's
throw
your
some ice
favorite?
cream out there, man. It's
What's
like
your go-to?
I take it back to old school, man. I'm like butter pecan, right? Butter pecan
Oh,
ice cream, man, is my stuff right
that's
there, man.
sophisticated, bro. That's not old school.
Yeah.
You said butter pecan. You said like old school is vanilla, like vanilla bean.
I've been doing pecan. I've been doing butter pecan since I was like little, man. They was and everybody was like, man, you're like old man for saying butter pecan,
That's
So
dapper.
mm,
That's super
yeah,
dapper of you.
hey man, if that is dapper, I'm going to go get some butter pecan right now, man. I love it, man. All right, the
That's
last
funny,
one,
bro.
the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
is, bro. I think it's. I don't really watch a whole lot of sports on TV. I can't get
Uh,
into all the hype. I think it's overrated, man.
uh,
Like
uh.
I've never like celebrate. I enjoy watching highlights and
You
like
go there for
really
the
athletic
commercials.
clips. Sure, yeah, like
Yeah, yeah,
commercials are
yeah,
funny.
yeah.
But bro, I
And the drinks, man. The drinks. When around Super Bowl time, the food and the drinks, man. That's what it is.
sure. I've never been to a live like Super Bowl, so maybe my opinion's wrong. But
Hmm.
from where I've sat from a couch or a TV,
Yeah.
nah,
I would say I
overrated.
don't even watch the entire Super Bowl. And I played football, man. I do love football, but
Yeah,
I when during Super Bowl time, I'm just there for the vibe, man. Because it's like
yeah.
food,
I bet
drinks.
that's
It's a good
fun.
time, man. It's fun. And then you're like, oh, it's halftime. All right, halftime show. Let's all watch that. And then,
Underrated,
commercials, right?
underrated if I'm there, overrated if I'm at my couch. That's
Right.
probably where I'm at.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's probably right where it needs to be, man, for sure. So, all right. So, hey, Tim, man, I appreciate you being on the podcast, man. You've been a really great guest. Again, audience, you listen to Data is My Science podcast, a show that makes data your passion. I'm your host, Dapper Data, man. Tim, you've been a great guest. Is there anything that you want to leave them with? Is there a book or is there a website that you want to leave them with?
Right. I thank you for having me on here. If folks want to reach out to me, if I can be a service to you, whether it's, launching an app, you got an idea, you got some things you want to work through, maybe some bottlenecks, some things that you think that I could serve you with, you can go to timbranyan.com. All my social media links are on there. You can search my name too, Tim Branyan on Google. Should pop up some stuff to get back in touch with me. And in the event, like you're a content creator, right, or you have a community, you want to get paid to post, or you like the concept of what we're doing at True Fanz, just get with Bobby. He's going to have access, and he can be the gatekeeper. So just hit up Bobby. You can learn more at truefanz.com. But if you want to gain access and kind of expedite getting entry, just hit up Bobby, and he'll facilitate that. So thanks for having me again, Bobby, and it's been a privilege, dude. I look forward to staying connected with you.
Thank you, man. So you said they can reach you on any one of your social media, all LinkedIn, all that stuff is through
Yeah,
Tim Branyan, right? Okay,
yeah. They can
great,
go to
great, great.
timbranyan.com. All my social media is there, and yep, they can click on those and connect.
All right, great, man. Well, audience, you can always reach me at Mr. Dapper Data on any one of my social media platforms. And thank you, man. Definitely check out my website, www.mrdapperdata.com. I just launched it, so it's a website. Definitely check it out, man. And
Yeah,
get some of that good content. And love you all. Peace, man. So
peace.